In this video, I'm running down the best apps for digital comic readers. What's up, guys? BJ Kicks here. I buy comics, I read them, and I review them, all for your viewing pleasure. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. On this channel, I talk about comics, I do reviews, unboxings, etc. If you're interested in that type of content, consider subscribing. But in this video, this is the latest in the series I like to call Comics 101, where I teach you things that I wish I knew going into my journey as a comic book reader and collector. Today, we're talking about digital comics and the best places to read digital comics, specifically on the iPad. Now, you guys know I'm a physical collector. I love nothing more than like surrounding myself with the things that I enjoy. So I'm in a room full of comic books. In fact, they have taken over this space. They're all over the floor. It's kind of crazy. I need to clean up. But, you know, sometimes it's difficult for me to read the comics that I buy because they're all over the place. Like, I mean, there's just stacks on stacks. I got a 1-year-old who is now walking around the house and running around the house and picking things up. It is just insane to find a free moment to just sit and read a delicate little book and not worry about a toddler ripping it up and stuff like that. And so while I love collecting physical media, and I don't think I ever will stop that, for reading comics, the digital experience has pretty much been unmatched. And it's a huge part of what helps me stay caught up on most comic book stories, except DC, but we'll talk about that later. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the best apps for reading comics. Some of them you've probably heard about. One of them I feel like everyone knows about, so we're going to get to that one first. But hopefully by the end of this, you'll hear about some stuff that you've never tried before, and you'll have new ways to read and try out stories that you may love. So the first one we're going to talk about is Comixology. I got my iPad screenshot up on the screen, and let's go. So Comixology is dope, right? Basically, if you don't know, they pretty much started as the only way to buy comics online. There used to be a few different services. Those services went the way of the dodo. Comixology is the only one that remains. They've got licenses with pretty much all the major publishers, whether you are an indie comics connoisseur, if you are a huge big two superhero bang bang type of guy, all of that is in the Comixology app. And every Wednesday or Tuesday in DC's case, new comics are loaded up in here and you can buy them from right within well, actually, no, you can't buy them in the Comixology app. You got to buy them on Amazon. But once you have bought them, you'll see them in your library and you can read them. So if you're someone who's buying comics every week, if you're a Wednesday warrior, no, don't worry. Going digital doesn't mean you can't buy comics every Wednesday. So that's super dope. Now, there's been a lot of upheaval within the Comixology app here lately because they have made it look a lot more like the Kindle reading experience. What I can say is the Comixology app is much better on iPad than it is trying to use it on a computer. Just don't get on your computer trying to read Comixology books. It's just not the move. So not only can you read all of your books in the Comixology app, there's also their unlimited service, which is a monthly subscription that allows you to try out digital versions of a bunch of books. You basically rent out a digital file like you would in the library. And I got stuff here, right? The IDW collection of Sonic, Volume 1. I didn't buy this. I just pay a low monthly fee to access. And now I got a bunch of issues of Sonic right here on my iPad. So this is a great option for you guys who want to spend as little money as possible. You don't want to spend $3 to $5 per issue. Just wait a little while, wait for the collected edition, and chances are it'll be in the Comixology Unlimited app. So one downside of Comixology Unlimited is they don't have every book, right? If you're trying to read like the complete collection of anything, chances are you're going to have to buy something to supplement your Comixology Unlimited. So I'm looking at Sandman right now. They got Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 4, but not Volume 3 in Comixology Unlimited. So if you really like Sandman, you're eventually going to have to pay. So that's a downside, but there's not a service that has this much content from both the big two and the major indie publishers here. But then also Comixology has Comixology originals. So like if you are a Scott Snyder fan, he's doing a lot of Comixology exclusive books right now. Chip Zdarsky's got, I think it's called Afterlift. There's a lot of original content in Comixology Unlimited as well. So if you are a big fan of comics of all types, Comixology Unlimited is definitely a service that I would subscribe to. I hate that their experience on the computer is not as good as their experience on the iPad. But if you're going to jump deep into digital comics, I highly suggest you get an iPad or even a Galaxy tablet, right? But that's Comixology and Comixology Unlimited. And that's the first book you got to talk about. Now, one thing about Comixology is I did tell you that's pretty much where you buy any digital comic that you want to read. And there are other comic book web stores that have kind of died out. So DC Comics, they used to have their own dedicated app where you could buy books. Marvel Comics still does. So let's look at the Marvel app. This is not Marvel's Unlimited service. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But the Marvel Comics app is basically like Comixology, but for Marvel stuff. So they do different sales based on characters. So if you wanted to shop, get 67% off your Daredevil comics, you could do that right here. Volume 1 by Ed Brubaker, $3.99 for what's this, 6 issues? 94 through 99. That's super dope. If you want to make a purchase, you can buy from right in the Marvel app. And you don't have to like go online, go on Amazon, nothing crazy. Buy it from right there in the Marvel app and it'll show up in your Comixology to read. But it will also show up right here. The other good thing about the Marvel app, and this is how I've populated my collection of Marvel comics, anytime you buy a physical Marvel book, it comes with a little digital code inside your book that you can use on their website to redeem for a digital copy. I don't know why DC doesn't do this. It doesn't cost you, well, maybe it does cost them extra, but like if people are dedicated enough to go buy your physical books, reward them with a digital copy. But whatever. I digress. But that's how I've ended up buying so many or having so many Marvel comics in my library. Every book that I buy on Marvel, I bring it home and I go ahead and take off that code. I redeem it and it even gets me like loyalty points and stuff like that. So that's the Marvel Comics app. I had to talk about it because it does kind of go hand in hand with Comixology. If you're a Marvel fan, you should definitely download it. Now, we talked about Comixology. We talked about the Marvel app. Those are the two ways to pretty much buy comics on your iPad. But let's talk about some of the ways that you can access comics without having to buy them a la carte, right? So since we started talking about Marvel, we'll talk about the Marvel Unlimited app. So Marvel Unlimited, let's go to the home page. Basically, it's like their Netflix for comics and it's all Marvel. So you can browse trending titles. Secret Wars is trending right now because of a bunch of MCU rumors. Namor because of the MCU rumors again with Black Panther 2 coming out. Ironheart. So they're doing a good job of like making sure that the stuff that they've got a big stake in on the cinema and movie side is showing up in their Unlimited app as well. Also, different recommended series, Infinity Gauntlet, like just super popular Marvel storylines show up here as well. And of course, whatever's new, whatever they load into the service this week for you to read will show up here. And I really enjoy that. One great thing about Marvel Unlimited is they're uploading content into the service every single week, and they're only 3 months behind the street date. So for the average fan, that's 3 issues ago you can find their story. So someone like me, I dropped Moon Knight because I wasn't reading it quickly enough. Well, Moon Knight 1 through 10 are right here in the Comixology Unlimited or the Marvel Unlimited app. And, we're only up to issue 13 in the stores. So I don't feel like I'm that far behind. And if I ever do decide, hey, this is really, really good, it's a lot easier for me to find the last 3 issues on the shelf than to find the first 10 on the shelf. So that's super dope. And I love that. So Marvel's honestly, between the big two, they're definitely beating DC when it comes to the digital experience. Between their Unlimited only being 3 months behind and their free digital copies when you buy a physical book, if you're a Marvel fan, you're probably happy with the experience. One thing I wish was a little bit better on Marvel is their basically their discoverability. I feel like everything is one long scroll and I got to just find a section. Once you get to the reading guides, they're cool, right? So like here, start here, X-Men. So you can save these little reading plans to your library. One thing I hate though is if you start a series from a reading plan, it doesn't keep you in that same reading order when you finish. So I'm going to show you an example. So let's go to event reading guides. So let's go with, if you got like a crossover event, something like this, 10 Lives and 10 Deaths of Wolverine, right? You can see the reading order is X Lives 1, X Deaths 1, X Lives 2, X Deaths 2, right? Let's go to X Lives number 2. Read the issue. And I'm already on the last page because I've read it already. When I scroll to get to the next issue, the next one is going to take me to is X Lives 3 instead of X Deaths 3. And that's whack. That's super whack because I needed it to be, the next issue in the reading order. So that sucks as far as Marvel Unlimited. But if that's the only gripe, it's a small gripe, but it's there. So Marvel Unlimited, I think it's actually $9.99 a month, probably the most expensive of the unlimited services, but I'll put the price on the screen. A lot of times they do like different deals, Black Friday, stuff like that. So you can get it a little bit cheaper, but that's Marvel Unlimited. Now let's go to, the distinguished competition and DC Universe Infinite. Now DC Universe Infinite, I enjoy, probably because I'm more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan, but here's their interface. They've got like featured stories. I like they feature their characters all big. The art is moving. So it's really enticing. But with DC Unlimited, you get their latest releases right up front. So one thing you'll notice is that with DC Unlimited, you are 6 months behind the street date of your comics. So Monkey Prince issue 6 just came out and issue 1 is the only one they have on the Unlimited app right now. So that it's kind of whack, right? And so if you're trying to keep up with the things happening in the DC Universe Infinite isn't the way to do that. You have to buy your issues in Comixology because 6 months is just too far to be behind, in my opinion. But if you don't mind being 6 months behind everybody, shoot, everything is here. So that's super dope. They've got, just like Marvel Unlimited, they've got their trending series that people are reading a lot. Their most read series, Batman Fortnite, doesn't surprise me. Injustice, one of the most popular digital comics of all time, doesn't surprise me. So that's really cool. One thing I think DC Universe Infinite does well are their collections, but they're not the easiest to get to either. Luckily, though, you can save any collection into your library. So I'm going to save this Death in the Family storyline to my library. And now let's go to my library. So I go to my DC and I can see every book that I've read in the Infinite service, right? And how far along I am in it. And I can see my favorite collections as well. So one of my favorite collections at DC is the Milestone collection. Milestone, basically every issue of Milestone is in the DC Universe Infinite app, including the crossover, Worlds Collide. So that's super dope. I wish they collected the Long Hot Summer. Those issues are here, but they don't have a reading order for it. I could probably add it to like a playlist myself, but I shouldn't have to, right? But anyway, so that's really cool. I love that you can binge Milestone series. You can binge a bunch of different series in the DC Universe app. No need to talk super long. The biggest cons for DC, of course, being that 6 month window between when it releases in stores and when it's available on this unlimited app. But once it's available, it's a great experience. I love the navigation. I love the spotlight. And overall, this just feels like a more, ergonomic. It's not ergonomic, but this feels like a better user experience. I'll say that. But let's leave DC Universe Infinite. So we've pretty much talked about all the major players. We talked about Comixology, Marvel, DC. But what if you're an indie comics fan? If you're an indie comics fan, yeah, you can read a lot of indie comics in the Comixology Unlimited app. But I wanted to show you another app that you may not have heard of. Maybe you have. I don't want to insult your intelligence, but let's talk about Scribe. Scribe is an app that's basically like a library of both publisher generated and user generated content. So they've got audio books, they've got sheet music, they've got podcasts, but they also have a pretty large selection of graphic novels, particularly graphic novels from Image and Boom Studios. So if you are one of those big indie readers, Image and Boom are like the bigger of the indie publishers. I know there's still Dark Horse and Aftershock and AWA and so on, right? But a lot of their titles are right here in the Scribe app. Now, because Scribe is like a catch-all app and they've got, basically comics or documents or whatever from everybody, there's definitely a little bit of navigating that you have to do. So for example, a series that I got put onto very recently was Ice Cream Man, right? So if I search for Ice Cream Man, yes, I will get the graphic novel by W. Maxwell Prince, but I'm also getting like random romance books and just trash. But, Ice Cream Man is there. So if you don't mind like wading through like, other stuff that's not relevant to comics, Scribed is a good option. Another thing to note with Scribed, the resolution isn't as good and you don't get that guided panel by panel view that you get in all the other unlimited apps because this wasn't really made for comics. So yeah, they got a bunch of Image titles, but if I also wanted to search for like a Boom title, I can do that too. So let's see. What are we going to search for? Everything I'm thinking of is an Image title. Tom Taylor, 7 Secrets. 7 Secrets is a Boom title. So let's search for that and see what we got. Boom. 16 titles. And let's go to the Boom Studios publisher. And right off the bat, we can see a bunch of stuff. Something's Killing the Children. Now, they have single issues and collected editions in here, which, your mileage may vary, but that's kind of annoying. I think my favorite way to find the books that I want to read is to find the title. And then once I click on the title, so let's say Something's Killing the Children. Once I click on the title, I can click on the author as well. And now I'm in books by James Tynion. He wrote Department of the Truth. He wrote Something's Killing the Children. So then I can go to, which volume or which issue and so on. But, it's not the most fun to navigate. It's definitely like you got to wade through a bunch of irrelevant information. But if you're just trying to read books and you don't care about that and you know what you want to read, then Scribed is a great option for you. So I wanted to show you guys that because I'm not sure if, most people know about Scribed, and I think it's only $8.99 a month, and you don't just get comics, you get audio books, you get podcasts, you get a bunch of stuff that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So I think it's a good buy. But anyway, let me go ahead and stop the recording. And that's pretty much it, right? Those are the 4 apps that I think are absolutely essential for digital comics readers. I know there are others out there. Another popular one is Hoopla. Hoopla partners with your local library to give you digital comics on demand from both the big 2 and indie publishers. Hoopla doesn't participate with my local library, so I can't really show you how great it is. But I know a lot of people love Hoopla. But I think Scribed covers a lot of the ground that Hoopla wants to cover. So, but the big draw to Hoopla is it's completely free as long as you got a library card. So that's another thing. So that's the honorable mention. But all in all, that was 4, technically 5 digital comics apps that you should definitely subscribe to if you got an iPad or a Galaxy tablet and you want to read comics without buying single issues every single week. So hope that was helpful. I'm going to go get some water because I'm parched. If you want to talk comics with me all the time, be sure to join the K Squad. Links are in the description below. Let me know. Do you like reading digital comics? Are you very angry that I made this video because you're a physical media only type person? Let's have that war down in the comments below. Till next time, I'll see you in another video soon. Hope you saw something you liked in this one. If not, that's cool. You can always buy what you like. Just make sure you read what you buy and be nice to others because kindness makes the world go round. Peace.